There is a history and a context here. Over the past few decades, Pakistan, because of its geopolitical role, particularly with respect to the United States, but in the last few years with respect to China, has managed to get concessions from multilateral and lenders of last resort like the IMF, which meant that Pakistan would frequently get waivers to get through IMF programs. And the last big evidence of that we saw was in the last program that Ishaq Dar successfully completed. Um, the challenge now is that the United States and other countries do not have an urgent need to keep Pakistan on side. As a result of which, they are not pressuring the IMF to give the concessions that Pakistan has historically become used to, for example. So what used to be geopolitics used to play in Pakistan's favor, and now the IMF is treating Pakistan like everybody else. So Ishaq Dar's view that geopolitics is being played against Pakistan is wrong in that sense, because geopolitics used to favor Pakistan. Now the IMF in Pakistani parlance is neutral, for lack of a better term. The other thing is that when I talk to people in Washington, both who have been on the Pakistani side of the conversations with the IMF and the United States, but also on the other side of the conversation, they always say that the United States, for example, has been very helpful. And the evidence for that also is that the US ambassador to Pakistan has frequently met Ishaq Dar in the recent past. So I think, again, the finance minister and the government of Pakistan is trying to play up to domestic audiences, trying to play this whole anti-American narrative in its favor, saying that, look, we are struggling because the United States or the West is against us. The question I ask is, let's assume that this is true. If it is true, then the Chinese and the Saudi Arabians and the Emiratis are also playing geopolitics against Pakistan, because these countries have linked the disbursement of their funds to the successful completion of the 9th and 10th reviews of the IMF program. So if geopolitics is being played, which I don't think it is being played, but let's assume Mr. Dar is being truthful, then the question becomes, well, are Pakistan's strategic allies and partners, especially China and Saudi Arabia, also involved in this geopolitical game against Pakistan? And of course, the answer to that is obviously not. Why would Pakistan's strategic allies play geopolitics against their own ally? So whichever way you cut the argument, it makes no sense. And I think it is just being pushed by the finance minister himself and some elements of the government in domestic media, primarily to play and win brownie points among a population that tends to have anti-American biases.